Where are they? Roxana? They have several books. And the written, which I think they want to know about, of course. Yeah. Okay. Here I am. Sorry, I haven't disappeared completely. So I'm going to show you Dr. Roxana's books. Where am I? I'm on my LinkedIn. Okay. So welcome all of you. So I said there's a lot more people here. Charles, welcome. The legend Brian Bing, I'm glad you're here as well. Thank you for being here. So I'm showing you Dr. Roxana's books. Right, camera, play ball. So is that the first one? Oh, yeah, I mean that's book number 2, financial freedom. And that's book number 3, I think. Yeah, book number 3. So financial freedom, passive income strategies for 2025 and beyond. So the second one was education and technology book. And if you look closely enough, you see that they've all got a gold badge on them. Oh, why can't this camera show what I want to show? Okay, that one hasn't got. That's got a gold badge on the final copy, and that's also Roxana's first book, Family Wealth Strategies for building wealth for parents. That way you can give your kids a legacy. Of course, you can see he's got that bestseller badge. Oh, Brian Bing is covering that bestseller badge. So these are Dr. Roxana's books. And for the rest of you, I wonder, do you have a book? Have you written your book? I'm sure you have a story to tell, right? Everyone's got a story to tell. Now's the time to write your stories, my friends. Your stories can inspire, they can educate, they can help people, and they might be what save people, right? Let's talk if you've got a story in your mind, you've got a story in your arsenal, then let's talk. So I'd love to help you write your book. I'd love to help you. If you've written your book and you're trying to finish it off and get it published, so I've got a team of editors that will help you and proofreaders who will help you to get your book finished. So what I want to do is help you publish your book. I want to help you get your book out there on the bookstores, on bookshelves, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Barnes & Noble. Those are the main places where I say Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is part of a bigger group. That tends to work on Ingram Sparks. So there's many ways to get your book out there, but also I want to help you sell your book. I want to help you make your book a bestseller. That means you're one of the handful of people like Dr. Roxana who's a bestseller. That means that your book sold more in a category of one or more categories in Amazon than any other book. That's the joy. If you're wondering what that's all about, it's about visibility in Amazon search. It's about credibility. Because to be a bestseller, it means people are reading your books. Yeah, I think every author harbors a wish to be a bestseller, whether they say it out loud or not. I'm well aware of this. I see this every day, right? Some people will tell you, I don't care. Well, what they really mean is that I don't know how to get a bestseller and I haven't got enough people to buy my book. Because things have to align. You need your buyers, you need your launch date, you need everything to align. Of course, you need your pricing to align as well. And if everything aligns, and you choose the right categories on Amazon, guess what? You win. When you win, you have that badge for life, that bestseller badge, Amazon Best International Bestseller. It's what we tend to achieve for all our clients. Only one client has only ever got 5 bestsellers in the US, and we were quite disappointed. But no, really, no, to be fair. It's not because we failed, it's more because of the way things worked out for my friend. But 5 bestsellers, that's good enough, right? Every other author we worked with, like Dr. Roxana, I think now has something close to 22 bestseller, 14 plus 8. What does that make? Yeah, 22 bestsellers. And there's a few hot new release awards in there as well. See, all these things help a book to sell more on Amazon. Of course, if you haven't seen my book, Lessons to Learn from COVID, go and buy it, my friend. There it is, right? It's every day I still hear stories about COVID.
And they say, what makes my book special? Not because I say it is, it's because it's got 10 authors in there telling us stories how we survived the pandemic. Like I always say, there's another pandemic coming. It's not if, it's when, right? That is the beauty of life. LinkedIn user. I don't know who that is. I'm a two-time author. Let me have a look. Congratulations, LinkedIn user. Let me have a look. Let me see if I can see who that is. Oh, Caroline. Caroline, how you doing? I haven't seen you before, I don't think, Caroline, but welcome, welcome, welcome. So you're my LinkedIn. Caroline says, let me go back to StreamYard now. Caroline says, I'm a two-time author. My first book is God, Why Did You Save Me? I imagine there's a health and recovery story in there somewhere, or maybe even a well-being story in there, Caroline. And the second one is The Well-Kept Woman, practical tips and insights for single Christian women seeking purpose and fulfillment, which is an ebook on Amazon. Congratulations, Caroline. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, now you're welcome to share the links for your books in the comments, Caroline, in case any of our friends here today, or even those who come and look at the comments later on, or even those who watch the video on replay, actually want to go along and check your book out. Yeah, I certainly will. I definitely take a look. Yeah, and I may well buy one. I may buy both. You never know, right? Yeah, so I like read. Of course, I like reading books. A better way, Caroline, is if you send me signed copies of your book. No, I get signed copies of books every day, and actually do have to read them. So otherwise, I can't talk about them, right? But welcome, 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 Michael. May the force be with you, Michael. Yes, I find myself funny. Michael, talk to me.
You are absolutely and utterly funny.
What's it? What's it?
Yes, the
What's
fourth
it?
is with me.
What's the 4th of July about for you lot? So what is it?
Oh man. Right now, my view is lots of cars in the parking lots of each and every house. Yeah, sure. But it's nice and quiet, even though I did see some strangers walking around with their dogs, but that's okay. That's pretty cool. And there are a few cars here that I don't know of. I've never seen them before, but they're here. But they're not making noise or doing anything, you
Mm,
know, ridiculous. It's just like you said, it's nice and peaceful. When I showed you the videos last time, it's
mm,
nice and
mm.
peaceful and really enjoyable. Sunny, very sunny. Yeah, it's over here. The 4th of July, I think, is going to be a really brilliant day. Really
So, so,
brilliant day,
so it's
and it's
about
like this every time. That's what I was told. It's like, wow.
right. So it's about family parties or family get together.
Barbecues, yeah. A lot of people here stay indoors. Um, uh, for the first time, I guess they're all getting ready to go and get together with family if they have to go visit their parents, and so on.
Mm.
Getting together with them and then doing a barbecue outside. Hot dogs,
Oh, wow.
burgers, chicken, pork. I think is the staple. Um, is the normal, so to speak. Yeah, and then I guess veggies on the side. Maybe they do barbecue the veggies, maybe they don't. But other people bring other things like potatoes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a family get together thing, and and barbecue, and then later on in the evening, um, fireworks. So in the morning, they're in their houses, all together, and then probably in the afternoon they go visit the family, and then they spend the afternoon and the evening together, part of the evening together. Because at
Cool.
least until about 12 o'clock is probably, or 1 o'clock is probably when they start, heading back, or 1 o'clock the next day is what I mean, heading back to wherever they came from. On the other
It-
hand,
it-
those who flew probably gonna head back on Sunday or on Monday.
okay, so it's a long weekend for
Yeah, so
Americans,
it's
number
a
one.
long weekend for Americans and getting together with family. It's supposed to be a patriotic weekend. So some people will do all their get in and do all their patriotic stuff. And just as a reminder to children, what this day was all about. Because, yeah, I just ran into something from Daughters of the American Revolution, and the
Mm.
person who represented them was talking about a little bit about it, about themselves, and how proud they are to be a member of the Daughters of Revolution. So I'm thinking this group has been around since the revolution. I'm
Well,
not so sure if it's
the
from
group maybe, but not the people, right?
yeah, the group,
right.
yes, but not the people, but the mentality.
So what's you celebrating? Are you celebrating, commiserating? This is what I'm trying to understand, really. Welcome, Caroline. I see you. I'm glad you're here. So of course I'll come to you in a second. No, I guess I'm taking Caroline. You're in the US as well, right?
Yeah, it would be best to talk to an American.
You are an American, Michael. Caroline, you're on mute.
No,
So please,
I am in America, but I am not an American. And
yeah. All right, Michael,
way
stop talking. Michael, you have to now let Caroline speak for a bit, Michael. You said to let her speak, right? How you doing, Caroline?
Good morning. How are you?
Lovely voice. I like your voice. I really do. I'm
Thank
great.
you.
I'm great now you're on stage.
He's smitten already. Oh my god.
Truly. I love authors. That's why, Michael. I just love authors. My world is a better place with all the other friends I have.
Only the intelligent kind, right?
And I like all authors. They're all intelligent, and they are. Anyway, great to see you as well, Caroline. So where are you? Are you in the US?
I am. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Excellent. So do you know what this 4th of July thing is?
Yes, I do know.
Please help us to understand.
Well, I mean, as a kid, we celebrated it, but it's just celebrating the signing of, the Constitution, basically.
Okay. Yeah, your declaration. The declaration.
Yeah. I don't celebrate it.
Okay. All right. Okay, what? Yeah, why not? Does everyone celebrate it, or is it optional? And you know what
Yes,
I mean?
it's optional. But I celebrate Juneteenth because me being an African American, it's not for us.
Yeah, and that's another one. Juneteenth. The rest of the world just goes, what?
Juneteenth was awesome. It was really, really awesome.
What's it about? What are you celebrating on July 19th?
No, it's June.
Sorry, June. Okay, yeah, Juneteenth. Okay, so my ignorant British self, right? So what's Juneteenth about then?
The last of the slaves being freed 2.5 years after it was signed for them to be free, which was in Texas.
Okay, I said this is pure American traditions that the rest of the world has no clue what why this is important. Well, they're clearly important dates, and let's say I don't know so what do we say to you on this day? Apart from me being stupid and saying, "May the Fourth be with you."
Or for me, it's just good morning. It's
a normal day to you. It's just a day, right?
Yeah.
Charles, welcome on stage, Charles. I see you, and I know you're American somewhere else, right?
Good morning, Annie. Not sure what time it is for you. For me, it's breakfast time, but that's one of the wonderful things about LinkedIn. We can have an event where it's dinner time for you, breakfast time for me, and bedtime for someone else.
Yeah, well, it's actually that. I mean, it was late afternoon. It's 3:30. So my day is gone pretty much. But
what you having for breakfast?
And so just came on to say howdy. You and I have interacted a little bit in prior events. Always appreciate your insights, and I'm currently working on a book on my experiences with the Latina community, where obviously from my accent and my looks, I'm not Latina, but have had decades of interaction with them and have actually lived in Latin America. And so working on that primarily just for me, and working on it in Spanish, where I'm working on going from conversant to fluent. And so, yeah, I mean, books are challenging to write, but then they can also be very rewarding. I've co-written one book so far, and working on another book.
Excellent. So, which book? Is it an anthology? Which book are you in?
So with Nick, the gifted bipolar writer, she and I co-wrote, along with several other people, a book on legacy. Where what do we want our children or whoever we see as our legacy to know about us?
Yeah. I've heard of the book, and I think Nick had another book out yesterday. I think, I'm more than my diagnosis. We're looking at something to that effect. So well done you. Congratulations, Charles. I'm glad you're here. I don't think I haven't had you on my stage before. Maybe in the early days of audio, a year and a half ago. But I haven't seen you on my video live streams for sure. Carolyn, talk to me. So tell us about your books, Carolyn. You're here, you might as well, right? The stage is yours.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. God, Why Did You Save Me is a snapshot of my life. And yes, it's recovery. I'm a mental health advocate, mental and emotional health advocate, Tennessee certified peer Christian life coach. I'm also known as what they call the professional listener. And so the book is a brief snapshot of my life from childhood to adult, the child trauma, and quite a bit of grief and loss. And so it's just 7 chapters, but I dedicate the book to those women that are hiding in the shadows of fear and doubt and shame. My main thing is letting women know that there is life on the other side of trauma, but you got to do the work. And when it comes to the well-kept woman, that is because I'm a believer, and so I remember the Lord calling me a well-kept woman in early 2012. And a well-kept woman is a woman that depends upon God for her every
Caroline, I appreciate Christiana, I was saying that you are my genius editors who helps people to write the best book they can. So welcome, welcome. Did Jonathan say Christiana? Caroline, please unmute. And let's try again. Never give up, right? Just keep coming back. You get kicked off, come straight back. Now, in the end, we'll win. I'm sure your books give that message as well.
Yes. Well, in this day and time, especially God, why did you save me? I know it's my lived experience is depression and anxiety, grief and loss. And so writing the book, and now I spend my time being a guest on several podcasts. And so my message that the Lord has given me is I broke up with fear, because that was the underlining of all of my depression and anxiety, is that I was just consumed with the spirit of fear. And so I let people know, especially women, that there is life on the other side of trauma. But for us as Christian women, we have to find our identity in the Lord, in his word, and believe what the Lord has said about us instead of what we hear or what we've heard from people in our past. So that's why that book is so important. I am definitely considering writing like a sequel.
My wow, right? Look, my friends, if you are here, if you are watching a replay, then please, all you have to do is scan that QR code. I think that's a brilliant thing to do, right? Now, that's a trick for authors that Karen is giving you free of charge today. Right? If that's all you take away, create QR codes to get people to just scan the QR code and then go to your page where to buy the book, whether it's to give you reviews, whether it's to recommend the book to someone. So there's many different things we do with QR codes. I'm sure I'll do a room one day where we'll talk about how to use QR codes properly, to really help your book and your book sales, or maybe book sales. Yes, maybe it's more about getting your book in people's hands, right? that's more the point. A quick question, Caroline. Why is your last one an ebook, not a print book?
The reason, well, I still desire for it to be a print. That's just how I started off. So definitely it's going to be a paperback.
Yeah. Oh no. Give it 5 seconds. Caroline will come back. Now it says she's persistent. Like we have to be. Yeah. I tell you, Caroline, just keep doing. We're winning. We're getting there, right? So you're saying that you're going to turn your last book into a paperback?
Yes, I plan to turn it into a paperback. I haven't done it yet because it was just released like 3 weeks ago. So that's the plan, to have for a paperback.
Yeah, I say some people like print books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the ebook is easy distribution. I get that. Because many of us like the real book in our hands. Let me admit a truth for all of you here. So the reason I read so many books is because I love the ebooks. I've got screen readers. I read the book to me. So most books I listen. It's like an audiobook. But they're not audiobooks. They're ebooks that a screen reader will read to me. And if I like them, then I tend to buy the print book. I think that's the way that ebooks help us to sell our book. That's of higher value, and also the one that sits on people's shelves, one that the people actually share. When someone walks in your house, they're like, "What's that book?" That's how print books really help us. So thank you so much for coming on stage. Of course, just like I say, do share the links in the comments after the event. And talk to people who are here. Let's make real friends. That's why I love doing it.
I did share them. I'm not sure if you saw. I did share them.
Yeah. I saw a link. It's a weird thing. I'm looking at the link now. So the world kept woman and God, why did you save me? Right?
Yes.
You see, normally it stays on the comment section of the page, but when you do it in events, it goes on the stream here. So I'm sure it's still been on the comment section as well. So do go and check them out. I say my friend Cyrus, who said we're just working on his book right now, branding, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. How you doing, Cyrus? So Cyrus, how you doing? You're muted. Cyrus doesn't want to talk to me yet. Okay, it's fine. I'll cope. Okay. So why Cyrus works out his availability to share with us, my friends. Let's talk about today's topic. See, I guess now this room is all about book to business. How do you turn your book into a business? How do you make money from your book, right? How do you really make your book work for you? Lachelle's here. I can't talk while Lachelle. I can't carry on waffling while Lachelle's here because you are the legend, Lachelle. How are you doing?
Happy 4th of July. I only have a few minutes. I'm actually at the store. Can you guys hear me? I have headphones on.
I can hear you perfectly. We can hear you perfectly.
Awesome.
I'm not American. Happy 4th of July, Lachelle means nothing.
Oh, yes. That's true. You're right. But I just wanted to get on and show support and wish you a happy holiday. That's just the festive type of mood that I'm in. Every holiday we want to take advantage of it and take some time to relax, reflect, and just to encourage. I think a lot of times when we're dealing with being an author, the real work begins after the book is finished, because you're like, oh my gosh, I did all this work, and you're ready for everybody to buy your book and realize, okay, if I don't have an audience, if I haven't really been talking about the book because I've been working on the book, now's the time to really, roll up your sleeves and get busy with promoting and showing up and being your own billboard a lot of times. So just want to encourage people, because I think that's one of the things that we don't talk about enough is the real work begins after the book is done.
I definitely agree with you. Thank you for also helping us understand more about this 4th of July thing. They say that for us non-Americans, we're like, what are they talking about? But I suppose there's two ways we could go, Lachelle. What are your books called, and what are you doing today for your 4th of July thing? How are you celebrating?
Well, I think, one of the tips that I would give people is to talk about, here in the United States, we're talking about freedom and, celebrating our freedom. And so, you can take that topic to tie it into your book in some way. You have the freedom to share your story, your voice, making posts about that to bring it to the forefront, from your own perspective. I think when we are able to ride the trends that are organically happening, it makes it an easy transition to talk about the things that matter to us. So if if we're talking about freedom and different things of that, how does that apply to your particular books? One, having the freedom to be able to share your story. For many people who have written, we can second guess ourselves. Does anybody even resonate with what I'm talking about? And it's really hard when you've had your head down writing your story or, you know, your perspective and opinion on a specific topic. So finding a way to kind of create a thread to that, I think is important. And, you know, begin to talk about it just like people introduce themselves. We have a room that we do on Clubhouse every Wednesday to where we give businesses the opportunity to come up and introduce themselves, because we have been conditioned a lot of times to be the people behind a brand. And because social media has transformed in its current day, we have to now learn how to be the face of the brand or the voice of the brand. And so that can be kind of awkward making that transition. But the more we practice it, the more successful we can be with accomplishing that and just doing it, right? So sometimes getting to the point of being comfortable about your book, you may feel like, oh, nobody wants to hear it. But if we don't take the time to share, then nobody's going to know about it. So I tell people all the time, we're not McDonald's. McDonald's has created a footprint to where it's like a rite of passage for a lot of families, you know, where their kids are getting a Happy Meal, you know, but they have done years and years of putting their footprint out there. So those are just a few things. Today, I'm actually going to be grilling with the family today and just kind of taking some time to relax. I had a son turn 17 yesterday. So love celebrating. So anything they can find a celebration for, you know, it makes it more special. But that is what I would say. And my books are all on Amazon. I do have a guided journal that I share with people. It's an easy read, but it helps you to figure out what is your routine that you need to do for your mental wellness so that you can start living a life of your dreams. So that's all that I could share. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much. And I said, when you got 15 kids, I imagine, you know, it's never quiet, and there's always something to celebrate, as you say. You know, look, I totally agree with you. You know, so authors will learn that we need to become. Well, I think the pinnacle of being an author, it's not even writing a book. The pinnacle of being an author is finding your voice. You know, being able to talk about, you know, what you know, your message. You know, I said that's where, you know, that's probably where we probably make most money as authors. Now, speaking engagement is where we get to really make money. If not speaking, coaching. You know, those sort of things where we really bring our book to life. As Lachelle saying, you know, that is a holy grail, and that's where we have to aim for. But you know, we have to be willing to learn how to find our voice, how to use our voice, how to impact people, rather than doing one-to-one. You know, we're doing one-to-many, right? That's the power of finding your voice. But thank you so much, Lachelle. Look, do check out Lachelle Atkins books on Amazon. I know Lachelle has a TV station as well. You know, so Lachelle's a TV producer. So she has Zondra, I think Zondra TV is where you find Lachelle. And you know, she does her shows in a special kind of way. I said, I've watched a good few of them. I'm like, I'm so shallow. If I ever met Lachelle on her show, I think I'll get found out for being any, right? I know what I mean. You know, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to educate. I don't take things too seriously. Whereas Lachelle's guests, they are serious people. They got stories to tell. And I'm like, wow, how do you do that? Lachelle, always inspiring, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Do connect with Lachelle for sure. No, connect with her. Go on, Lachelle, please. The mic is yours.
I just want to say thank you so much for your kind words and your support. And I know you're like the godfather of these events. So if you could make it where we could have emojis, I would love that. So just putting that out there.
No, we can keep asking, Lachelle. We'll keep asking, right? We'll keep asking. Does Restream have emojis? I think they do somewhere, right? We're here now. I think we're starting next to comments. I think that's about it, right? They can improve this live streaming thing. So I think audio gave us more options to respond, but what we have here, Lachelle, is we have more engaging comments. Remember, all didn't have comments. So you had to go to the DMs, and no one would ever see your comments. Whereas here, I love the comments feed. I love people who talk to us in real time. How you doing, Peter? Welcome, Mr. Popeye. Because this man is, he's a muscle man. He's a weightlifting genius amongst us. Of course, he's got other skills, recruitment as well, talent management. So that's Peter's thing. So I'm glad you're here, Peter. Happy 4th of July. I'm just doing what I think is the right thing, right? Caroline, Lachelle, please do connect. Do connect, and everyone connect. Connect with my friends on stage. Connect with people in the audience as well. Don't just connect. Talk to people. Make friends. Our book sales rest on making friends. Every friend that we make is one more chance to sell out to I guess get a message to them through our book. You never know who they're going to recommend you to, and that's how we spread our sales over time. Christiana, how are you doing?
I'm great. Happy 4th of July, Rochelle, and all the Americans celebrating this beautiful day. It's so great to always see you, Rochelle. It's one of it's one of those things that, whenever I hear your voice, I always think about your children and the many of them and how you're a super mom. It's like, I always think, how does she do it? How does she do it? I have an aunt who, on my husband's side, who had 18 children.
18.
And she had 2 sets of twins in the 18 children that she had.
Wow.
Yes, real wow. How does that happen? How do we do that? My video is not wanting to work this afternoon. Oh, here it is. Hi.
We see you. Hello, Christiana. How are you? I'm so glad
good.
you're
How
here.
are you? So good to see you, Annie.
You're too kind.
Sorry?
You're too kind. You're far too kind.
Oh my goodness. Book, Annie. Books and more books.
Yes. We need to do more. We need to do more.
That's called cheating. Get a hard copy and read books, Annie. Okay? Read those books held in your hand. Turn the pages. I love the feel of having to turn the pages.
Christiana, you don't know what my life is like, Christiana.
I do. I actually do.
You don't. You do not. If you knew, then you know why I need to read audiobooks. It's not audiobooks. I read ebooks, not audiobooks per se. I read ebooks, right?
Annie, you don't turn the pages of a paper leaf book, is a point I'm making. Right? You've got to turn the pages.
You're wrong, Christiana. Look.
I'm not wrong.
Look how many books that I'm reading as we speak. Now I have to read all these, right? These are books that people send me, Christiana. People send me books. So I won this on Joan and Karen's show. So it's an amazing book about Susan White. So I have to read that.
Annie,
you
tell
no. Tell me so many pages. So many pages, Christiana. I'm like 40% of the way through. That's Shala's book, Ice. I can explain. There's many more. I'm writing a book about pricing, so I have to read a book about growth. An accountant friend of mine. That's another business coach, who talks about pricing as well. No, that's not that one. And there's a self-care book by Joan and Karen themselves.
So do you remember we speaking about the self-care, pausing and taking time. When you practice self-care, you can pause and read a book.
Self-care is intentional. Christiana. I every book I publish I have to read, right? Not just read. I have to. I read them when I publish them, but I read them in my way, which is to do what I have to do with them, right? And then I have to buy them after our book launch. I will buy the book and then read the book.
The same with editing. You got to read every book you edit. So
I've got all books that my screen can read, Christian. It's like a dream come true.
Yes,
it really is. I sit there and I take it all in. You see, but if I read your book on screen, there's something that you can. And what I guarantee you is, I'm probably going to read it at least 4 or 5 times. because I know
Yes.
that, unless I really read them and really listen, I would no. You're bound to miss something, right? And each time you
Yeah.
read a book, I find each time I read a book, I learn more. There's something I didn't quite notice last time, and something that you went past. So you can't beat me for reading audiobooks and for liking audiobooks, right?
I'm not beating you. I'm just saying.
Hashtag just saying.
Exactly.
Look.
I'm not beating you. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, which books are you reading as we speak, Christiana? Yeah, let me put you on the spot.
Ooh, so I am reading Financial Joy
Oh, cool.
by
Okay.
Ken Okorafor. In fact, I'm rereading this book. I began reading it when it first came out. I didn't quite finish it, and I thought, you know something, I need to revisit this book, and so I'm doing that at the moment. And when it comes to books, I don't just read them once. I read and finish the book, but sometimes, when you go back to reading a book, you look at it in a different perspective. You see what you missed.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
just missed it, but actually you have a different perspective or a different take on the same thing when you read a book. So I like to go back to books.
I think we mature. We're more aware of certain things each time we read a book. I'm totally with you. So the one I'm reading again is "Be So Good They Can't Ignore You." I read that for about 4 times now.
Okay.
I guess like you're saying, when I read them again, I always find that thing that I'm like, oh, I can talk about that. So, but then which makes me read the book again to really get it. Like, I have to really get it if I can start talking about anything, right?
Yes.
So the other one is U Squared by Price Pritchard. They're small books. They're small books, so I get through them.
How many pages?
Price Pritchard, 40, 42.
Okay, that's a small book. Yes.
That's my little brain. Go on,
it's
please.
quite hefty. The one I'd like to return to, Very Rich by Napoleon Hill. That book is chunky.
Big book. It's better to listen to, Christiana. I'm giving you a hint, really. It's free on YouTube, so I'm saying it's there, right?
I am inclined to agree with you, but I think what I'll do when I listen to books, I tend to have the book and listen. It's how my brain works sometimes. Not always, not with every book. With some books, I can listen to it, but I still have to go back to the paper version, or at the same time whilst I'm listening and going through. It's almost like when the teacher is in the classroom reading to you, and you're following the book on paper whilst they're reading out the book in class out loud. So
this is one I think, my friends, you need to understand. Christiana she's a paper person. She's a paper person. Even though Christiana on screen, you can follow the reading, you can follow the words. It's all there.
Yes,
right? It's all there.
Yes,
right.
It is.
So, even on YouTube, there's a transcript you can follow, Christiana. The words appear magically.
Yes, not the same.
It's the
same. You know what happens? This is what happens, right? This is exactly what happens. I hate these, Annie. I so can't stand these, right? I have got to wear this now for the time being, not permanently. So this, for me, frustrates me. When I don't have this,
they look stylish. Yeah, honestly,
it takes ages for me. Look at this. Look at this, Annie. Check me out.
You look stylish. I've got my own, so I can't say anything. Right? I got my own glasses.
I can't stand them.
But mine's for small. Mine's for small prints, tiny prints, not for.
Let me tell you a true story. I woke up on the 27th of December, 2024. Wait, 2024. I woke up and I had no sight. No wonderful lie. I've lost my sight. It was scary. I can't remember, I'm telling you this live on your show. It's crazy. I have no sight.
It says on the internet, my friends. It says on the internet forever.
It does. I woke up and it was one of the most scariest experience of my life, because imagine you go to sleep at night and you wake up and you cannot see. I really began to understand how people with no sight, who used to have sight and have no sight, feel, and those who were born with no sight probably used to it, but it scares the crap out of you. I'm going to put it that way and forgive the language.
Yeah.
You know, to cut a very long story short, when I eventually started to see things, I could only see like black dots, not very clear, nothing at all. Fast forward, going in, having my eyes checked, I had done apparently had not permanent damage, but done damage to my eyes, and I had to have this and quite intensive drops, you know, for my eyes to be able to clear my eyes, to be able to correct some of the damage. To this point now where I'm having to use these corrective glasses, which, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think my my optician is here, so I can tell you. But anyways, it's now live on live stream. I did not want to wear them. Just didn't want to wear. I still don't want to wear them, and I didn't at first. I was stubborn about it, and then I suddenly said to myself, "You do need to have this from time to time. You know, put them on. Let your vision be corrected. Vision be corrected." The eye drops were a step too far for me to begin with, but I knew it was something I needed immediately to really help me, and they were quite intense drops. But yeah, so it's not, for me, reading on screen it's hard work. It really is, and it wasn't something that I did to experience before. I could read for hours on screen, not a problem. You know, previously I was computer things, even though I liked paper, I still didn't mind reading on screen. Whereas these days, I feel like the condition has slowed me down. It takes longer to read through, and it frustrates me. You know, so my whole thing is paper.
Don't be frustrated. You're aging, my dear. Your age is fine. We're all aging.
You're funny, Annie. You're funny.
Stop it, Christiana. Let me work with Jay. Let me work our storytelling strategy.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay. Our words are confined to our books. Indeed, our true stories are confined to our books, Jay. I know that's more the point, right? Now, speaking of engagement, webinars are other ways to share our content and message. I think that I agree with you, Jay. We need to find a way to speak our books, literally, to tell we have to tell our stories. You know,
yes, I agree.
We have the impacts, but I think those who can really talk about this, the message, the stories, what Jay calls transformation moments, the moments you learned that thing, moments that realization came to you. That's where those are the ones who really thrive, and that'll get more people to go and buy your book. Strange thing, right? You know, so we have to learn to speak. I definitely agree. Joni, welcome. This is
Hold on, pause. Did you say?
Oh no, Christiana's frozen. It's not me. Yeah, I had a feeling. Joni, 163-page dinosaur book. Your picture, your new pictures are in, Joni. So I'll upload that tonight, and then you can have the final version of your book. And then let's see where we are. But thank you so much for joining us, Joni. Joni, Jay, you have the link in your WhatsApp. You want to join us? You're welcome. Yes.
Did I hear you say Joni? I can see Joni's name on the screen.
Yeah.
The elusive Joni has joined us.
Joni lives. She's here. She's
the
here.
Elusive Joni has joined us. What is going on?
Joni lives.
Hi guys. I'm on
You're
vacation, so it's a no makeup vacation, no hair done.
Did you hear me?
Right. You look as gorgeous as ever, Joni. It's fine.
Joni, you know what I said to you?
What did you say?
I said you are fired.
You're fired, and I'm on vacation with my kids finally after a year.
You can't fire Americans on this day. You have to be kind and generous. And Joni is here.
This is our big day. It was our independence from you guys.
Friday.
You don't get to fire me because now I'm American.
Happy
you don't rule over us anymore.
Friday.
Yes. Welcome,
Journey,
Jody. Yeah,
we're
hold on.
meeting
You what?
Just put it. Sorry,
Journey,
just-
we are meeting soon.
yes, please. You want to meet right now? How are you? How are you, love? How are the kids?
Let's talk about it this evening.
Yeah, don't talk about it now. No, don't talk
Yeah,
about it now.
probably not this evening, honey, because I'm going to be watching fireworks.
Mm.
Oh,
We're going to
gosh.
be going
Yes,
out
it's
on the
July 4th.
boat and tubing and doing all the fun stuff. We're having
All the
a
fun
fried
stuff.
chicken,
Love it.
some strawberry shortcake.
Of course. And her phone goes off.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're fired.
Hopefully it's not work for Joni today. It's
You're
all
not.
fun. Man. It's
You're
all
not
fun. Right?
fired. I still love you.
There you go.
Journey, have a look at this.
No, you look great. You always look great,
Oh, you
Christiana.
look
Even
beautiful.
your glasses. Exactly. See?
What do
Thank you. Just
mean?
Annie
look
says that.
great. No, and that's kind of the style now. You see, my middle daughter, she has glasses, and they're like granny glasses. That's like this. She wanted them. I was like, all right.
Bless her.
You look
I was
great.
saying how I
Do
don't like
not-
wearing these things. I don't like wearing them, Journey.
I have to wear readers now for books. That's about the extent. I can still see at nighttime, like driving, like that's not a problem. And I feel like a lot of people have that problem, but yeah, they're just the little readers, like for up close.
We're getting
Yeah,
older.
What have you guys been up to?
We're getting older and wiser, Joni. That's why our eyesight is going. You know, so
Go away, Annie. That's not the reason.
It is.
Has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, getting older. We're not getting older, no, Christiana.
I spent far too long. Well, I won't tell the story as to the reason why my eye was burnt on live on stream. Journey will have a conversation later. I'll reserve that for behind the scenes.
You do that. So, Joni, our conversation today really is how do you sell more books? I guess we have three options, Joni, right?
Yeah.
One is do your own marketing.
Yeah.
Number two is get someone else to do your marketing.
Okay.
And what most people do is go to something called book promotion sites.
Is this gonna
book promotion sites promise you a lot. That's what I want to talk about today, really, right? But the reality is rarely what they promise you. You know, I'm not here to beat up on book promotion sites, and I'm more interested in telling you what they do. That way, people know what they're getting themselves in for. You know, I know after today, I'm sure at least one of you will go and try book promotion sites. Please go, please do, right? And then learn your lesson, and then come back to us. That's what I say, right?
Okay.
those sites, there's loads of them. They exist, right? You know, and
I think something exists for everything now. So you know, you cannot think of an original idea anymore.
Exactly.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with global.media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
Ignore the music. There's loads of book promotion sites. There are hundreds of them. You know, and essentially, many people think, I want to sell my books, so I'm going to go to a book promotion site. Book promotion sites don't sell books. What they do are three things. Let's understand this, my friends. Now, I'm so keen that you know. You see, in days gone by, a book promotion site was essentially a way to get your book in people's hands, right? People's readers' hands. So they've got a big list of readers, potentially email addresses is what it comes down to, right? I mean, maybe they've got social networks, social media following. And they say to you, come to us, we'll promote your book to our readers, to our audience, through, number one, placement on a website. We're going to put your book on the corner of our website somewhere, right? For a period, forever. Or for a period or for a longer period. A month, a year, 6 months. And we're going to email your book link and information to our readers. And then we're going to share your book link and information on our social media. We're going to do X amount of posts in X amount of time. 20 posts, for example, in 6 months, for example, right? Those are the 3 things they do. See, in the days gone by, when all we wanted was to get our book in people's hands, it means we gave away our books free of charge. Book promotion sites were brilliant for that, right? Because everything was free. So if they send out information about your free book, people would read it, I guess, download it. I mean, they might read it, but they download it, right? Now they say, but the world has changed, my friends. Amazon doesn't do free anymore, unless you're part of KDP Select. Amazon's like Kindle Select, right? The Kindle Select membership program on Amazon. It's like Prime, but for books. So when you join that, then people can read your book for free. They can read your book for free. And Amazon pays you based on how many pages people read. I think it was at 0.0 something cent per page. So look, now that we don't give away books free of charge, book promotion sites are in trouble because you have to pay them. Yeah, I just said that. You have to pay them. If you don't pay them, nothing happens. And so a lot of people they think they get ripped off now. And I think they just make bad choices, Jody. They make bad choices. They choose the wrong book promotion site and they expect too much. Now, can you sell books if you go to book promotion site? Of course you can. Okay, now this is I'm going to show you how to use them. Here's one way. If you have a book series, what you do is put one of them, the first one, on Kindle Select. Amazon's you can read for free thing, right? And so then the book promotion site promotes your book, people go and read that first free book, and then they might buy the other 2 books. You get the idea, right? So it's a loss leader, but it helps people see more people see you, and then they buy your book. But you have to pay for the service. And they could help you sell books. They probably won't. So let me stop talking for a second. Joni, would you ever use a book promotion site?
I'm like my faith is in you right now. So no, I wouldn't. I think you generating also a lot of your own kind of viral marketing about your book really helps within your community. So Annie and I are about to come out with my children's book, and I have all the elementary schools on board for me to do a reading, and I'm going to give the kids all QR codes for them to, buy them with their parents. The local children's bookstore in town, they are allowing me to give a couple copies as long as I fill out a form. But yes, I do think a lot of viral, like your own marketing through social media too can help. And what else? I read a very interesting article through the New York Times that I can share with you guys the link about Book Talk. Have you guys heard about this before? I mean, it's like TikTok. It's part of TikTok, but it's Book Talk, and it's like shows like an algorithm to what books like that are being reviewed you would enjoy. So it gives you like a list of books, and so it's just totally AI algorithm that is pretty wild, because it really, you don't necessarily want to read all the exact same, I don't know what a lot of it's about, like romance genre with like whatever you like,
Fiction
cowboys or vampires or something. But you're like, maybe I won that one time, but actually I like reading something like historical fiction or a biography. And so I think like really just promoting yourself in a really natural way is probably the best bet, and working with someone you trust.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Look, there's many things that you say that I want to pick on, Joni. You see, I have a readers club. That's how I do my bestsellers. I have readers who will buy the books I will tell them to buy, and they will leave reviews because they're humans, right? Whereas Amazon has changed the way it looks at reviews. In days gone by, anyone who writes a review about your book, and so Amazon then introduced this thing a couple of years ago called verified reviewers, right? So it means they actually have to purchase your book on Amazon before their review will show. Again, this has dealt a nail into the coffin of book promotion sites, because they could just promote your book and people would just click and then review your book, and you get more reviews, right? Please feel free, Joni, right? But so now, reviews by people who haven't bought your book don't get seen. So that trick is gone. I don't want to take away from the value of reviews. So reviews are very important, because if people don't know you, tend to buy your book based on reviews. I don't think that's true. I'm lying, right? I know what I just said, but I know I'm lying, right? I don't buy a book unless I'm interested in the topic, unless I'm searching for it, and I know what book I'm looking for. I don't buy books randomly because I like the look of them. I don't buy books because it has 5 stars. I buy a book or the reviews it has, right? I buy a book because it is the book that I want for the work I'm doing. So of course I buy many books about book marketing. I buy many books about business growth, right? So LinkedIn users, and I'm still here listening. Okay, I think that's Caroline. I'm planning to write a 3-book series. This is what I'm planning. CJ Stars, Christian Buried, title summary, Buried Secrets. Jessica Stone returns home to solve a code case her father left behind. The Crimson Covenant, that's the missing pastor. A dangerous cult testing of the faith, and the final revelation, truth behind father's death is uncovered, and the killer closes in. Oh, honestly. Caroline, let's talk about it. Caroline, we have to meet, right? We have to meet properly. Now let's do a Zoom meet. Anyone who's writing a book, say I'm always there. So is Christiana, by the way. So let's meet. I'll send you a DM after the event. Let's talk, and then let's see whether we can help you on your journey. So of course we'd love to, right? Christiana,
Yes.
One of my
Let us know.
But this is all about meeting, talking, and then seeing how we can support you on your journey. Cyrus has changed, Christiana. Look at him.
I know. Cyrus.
It's in America. Yeah, that's one of his brands.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Good morning.
Cyrus,
Good
crack
afternoon.
me
Good
up.
evening.
How you doing?
How's it going? You okay, guys?
Yeah, we're here. You were here. It's all good. How's it going with you?
Everything's going smoothly. Thank you so much. We just went live across all main channels on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn, of course. So
me
all live
right now? Us right now?
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
I
told you I'm going to do it, and I did it.
Yeah, I know Cyrus is a doer. Of course, I would say, but let's leave it there. Let's
What do
leave
you
that.
mean? Let's leave it there, Annie.
You're not a talker. I'm saying, but we have friends who are talkers. They have
Yes.
good ideas that never become reality. Joni's
Ideas. Any ideas? We've all had them.
Yeah.
Since Eve met Adam.
Yeah, and there's everyone has them, right? There's what's that saying? It's like, yeah, it's part of the body.
Annie, don't say it. Don't say it.
I know. I try not to. My friends, like Joni, just enjoying the paradise. Look where she is. She's loving the life.
Joni, stop showing off.
I tell you, honestly.
Stop showing off, Joni. Switch that camera off right now.
Let's go to Sarah.
Sarah. We're fired,
Oh,
remember?
please. Oh, please. No,
Only happy
I'm sure you guys
4th of
all live in
happy 4th of
beautiful
July.
areas and travel. This is like one vacation.
These two
No, we
hijacked.
just thought, Joni, we'll come to you so you can be our
Yeah.
tour guide.
Please. We have 6 bedrooms. So
Oh, good.
It's a
very,
mansion.
it's not fancy, but you know,
It's a
this is
mansion.
fancy.
It's a mansion.
It's
It's a
nice.
mansion with acreage. That's always impressive, right? Like,
It is. It was a great grandparents, so it's has some history, which is just special. Yeah. Like this field behind me, they used to play the tennis on grass tennis court.
Nice.
Like, you know, they 2 houses down was Ernest Hemingway's house. So that's my only claim to fame. That's my zero. I have not a lot of claims to fame, but
You have one. Your books will be your claim to fame in good time, Joni.
I'm hoping. We'll see. We'll see.
There will be. You're speaking gigs. You're inspiring children and young people. You know, and you bring.
I just did promo for P. Willis, P. Little Willie.
You know.
And I'm going to be featured in Guyana. So I was like,
well, are you coming?
What more?
Are you coming to Ghana?
No, I don't think so. I think the tickets are just too expensive, but I would love to. We'll see.
I'm going. So
are you going?
Yeah, I'm taking
I mean,
myself.
yes, he's friend, and it was nice. He got all like teary when like I sent over the promo thing, and I was like,
oh, how sweet!
I'm just a girl from Chicago. Nothing special. But
hold on. Let's get back on topics now. Cyrus, books.
And also, wait, Cyrus, and to anyone else listening, if anyone has any really great science fiction recommendations that have just kind of come out in the last couple of years, let me know, because I have been requested by my father to tell him.
Excellent. Okay, I tend to read nonfiction books. So, if anyone has any recommendations for science fiction books, contact Joni for sure and do suggest, right?
Do suggest. Thank you.
Otherwise,
go ahead.
Stephen Graham? Not Graham, Grisham. He does write sci-fi. Grisham, I'm sure it's Grisham. He does write a lot of sci-fi books.
Not John Grisham. What are you talking about?
John Grisham wrote. He wrote Crime.
All right. DM me about that. Thanks.
Yeah. It's always about talking, my friends.
How about you come face to face and talk about it?
So Joni, does your dad write about science fiction and stuff?
No, but my dad does op-eds. So he was an architect for up until last year. He still is. But he owned his own business, and so he would do op-eds for the Philadelphia Inquirer about my kind of historical building structure and kind of the meaning behind them. So nonfiction, but articles for the Philadelphia newspaper.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually tempted to write about science with vaccines. So that is borderline science fiction.
Well, if you need a father-daughter team to review some of those enjoy. My dad and I are kind of cut from the same cloth. So
excellent. So Joni, I just wanted to say happy 4th of July on behalf of Team America. and
They cast you out too, right?
uh-huh.
They put you over there with the criminals.
Well, it was it was a client, and we made a brand for them, and they said they wanted an all American tools and hammers and tools brand. I was like, okay, America, and you want a hammer plus America equals America. That's
Very
how
nice.
this brand was born.
I love
So anyway, happy
it.
4th of July.
America, you're kind of, we love bacon over here too. So it's kind of like ham, whatever. But that's cute that you said that. And my great grandfather owned Cincinnati Tools, which is been bought and sold off into many huge tool companies. And so, yeah, maybe my family maybe made a hammer one time. I don't know.
Absolutely. We already have a representative in America, Piers Morgan. He is a tool. So,
copyright YouTube. Ignore that, please. It wasn't me. It was him.
Ignore that. If Piers Morgan, if you're listening to this was just autocorrect.
No, don't block my video because of Cyrus, please. No, being abusive. Yes, the celebrity, honestly. Cyrus.
He said tool. Didn't think of which tool. Could be a good tool, bad tool. No one said
construction is a very constructive tool.
Exactly.
Yeah, tool of it.
Agents.
I'm not helping my audience to learn about a topic, my friends. Now, look, Cyrus, what's your take on book promotion sites? Do you know what that?
So things like Bookly and the main one, Amazon, etc. So what I've learned is that people make more money if they sell their book on Amazon and on their own website. So the ones you sell on your own website, you get every single slice of the cake. The ones you sell on Amazon, you get whatever percentage of the cake. So my ideal situation is to sell on sell multi-platform, because then you wouldn't have to worry about how much you're getting out of where. Then what really matters is which one of the platforms you advertise in the most. And clever individuals, obviously authors are already clever, so what they need to do is that they need to create a sales funnel on their website and promote whatever website they want. So multi-platform is my suggestion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the main thing there is that we need to build our own communities. When I said I've got a readers club, I said my friends on LinkedIn tend to be authors. I said they tend to. That's why they buy books on book launch day. I can almost guarantee that I guarantee we'll make everyone bestseller because our friends here on LinkedIn will buy those books. Lucky me, what? I said lucky me. It's my blessing really that I got friends who buy books. I'm saying, you can. The reason I do 4 events with my authors before launch is to build that community of readers. Now, we'll build your readers club, right? That way, you're not going out fishing and hoping that you find the readers club that's going to do what you want. Let me show you a quick video. It's not quick. It's a long video, but it says everything I want to say today. But we'll come back to it and then talk about it afterwards. You grab a cup of tea, my friend. Grab a drink. You're going to be 5 minutes watching this, right? And then YouTube is going to try and block it afterwards and copyright my video. Violation thing. Here goes, my friend. Let's learn something.
Oh, so then I look at what the actual promotion is. It's a permanent place on their website. Well, I'm not too excited about being featured on this website. Really, that would only ever matter if my reader is going to be visiting their website anyways. Same with their weekly newsletter. I mean, I could put you in the Book Launchers newsletter, which goes to more than 35,000 readers. And that might sound great, but my audience is there for book writing and book marketing tips and invites to our monthly deep dives, not to hear about your book that you wrote on environmental issues and solutions. So it doesn't really matter how many people are on a list if they aren't interested in the book you've written. Okay, so let's check out the social media, because a little push can be helpful, and they are promising social media pushes. I head on over here and they have 4,000 followers. Okay, so let's see the stats on engagement on a tweet. 17, 19, 22. And are the books like you? And the books that are like your book, do they get any engagement? Oh my gosh, are they producing any books other than Alyssa Roberts? I guess she paid for the daily 3 posts, and that's what you get. Woo! Are you excited for this promotion yet? Because I know I'm not. Now, I couldn't even find Books Ride on Instagram, but I was curious what 60 posts meant. Okay, I also kind of feel a little mean picking this offer apart, because there's hundreds of other companies that also do this, and I'm picking on them. But they hit my inbox when I was thinking about what videos to do, and I didn't want you wasting your money, because that is what this is. It's basically taking your money and flushing it down the toilet. And yes, it's only $35 or $85, but you could still up your bid on Amazon and sell a couple books for that, or do a great promotion with Written Word Media, which is a legit and really awesome company. Oh, speaking of Written Word Media, let me just show you the comparison. So when you arrive at Written Word Media website, there are a few things that immediately strike you and should help you also see what a ripoff and scam the other site was.
A day that starts with a walk, includes deep work, and ends with friends and a workout. That's the goal. You just need the right system to get.
First of all, the Written Word Media site is secure. See that lock on the top? Yep. They have clear offerings and clear segmentation. And there's no sales gimmicks here. There's no flashing signs or bad English that says, hurry, deal goes fast. When you click on the About Us, you also see pictures of people. And there's nothing here that seems too good to be true. Now, I know Farrell from Written Word Media, and we use their services all the time at book launchers. We use Bargain Booksy in particular. So we know they're legit and offer great value for authors. They also probably aren't going to land in your inbox with a weird Gmail invite to use their services, because you'll find them through ads, promotions, referrals, meeting their team at conferences, and other more normal marketing processes. Now, that doesn't mean cold email is always a scam. It's not, but 98 or 99% of the time it is. Okay, let's take another one, a different one, more in line with the video that I'll share at the end, and I'll tell you how I evaluated this one. Now, what annoys me about these emails is how many dang times they follow up with me. I'm going to have to get a new email address soon just to have a clean inbox again. But that aside, I get these emails every day, many times a day, and I have been chosen, oh lucky me, to be featured in some major publication. And all I need to do is pay some money, and then I get to be on the cover. In this case, it's $1,500, so I can get my picture on the cover. Now, click on the website and see what that magazine looks like. It reminds me of a free magazine you might pick up at Denny's to read while you wait for your skillet. Clicking around the website, I am convinced that this is a magazine with no circulation. But if you're drawn to this offer for whatever reason, dig deeper. Google the magazine. Google it for reviews. But my favorite is always to look for who works there. That's why I love Written Word Media as an example, because you can find the people who work there on LinkedIn. You can see the pictures of them on the website. So on LinkedIn, I clicked around and found that they don't seem to have an identifiable person there. There were a couple of people in India that have the company name on their profile, but it wasn't really clear if they even worked there. So
hopefully you're getting the idea. There's a few things that my friend mentioned I think we have to bear in mind, right? Yeah, of course, these book promotion sites, they're coming for you, whether you like it or coming. When she said she has to get a new email to have a clean inbox, I know what that means. I know how it feels. So I get 350 emails a day, every day. I can't cope. I said, because the people who you've been selected, that's
crazy, right?
It's a chestnut, Christian. No, so I have clients calling me most days of the week saying, "Oh, should I go for this? Should I go for that?" And they find them on Instagram, and you're like,
I mean, they text you too.
Yeah.
On my phone. You're going to be the next big author. Just, click on this link. It's maddening because then you miss like actual text from your friends or something.
You waste time. You miss. It's the time you spend responding. Engaging.
I just I'm like, oh, and dump this thing in Wallen Lake back there.
Of course, and I can see there's something I didn't mention, which is that many of these book promotion sites, they rely on free or discounted books. Right? You're not going to get your full price. Sarah's mentioned if you sell a book on your website, you have the full money, right? That's probably that's probably why the truth. You have to pay Amazon to print the books in the first place. Which is maybe also copies are also price, but you still got to pay something, right? You're still losing something. But I'm saying these sites that promise you all these things, choose carefully. I'm not going to say don't choose, never go with them. Some can do your ads on Facebook, some can do your ads on Amazon, right?
But 90% of them are fake.
Yes, but even the big boys, Booksy, as was mentioned earlier, there's many big boys in this sector, right? They are promoting your book to their readers. Are they promoting your book to your readers? I'm saying, are the people they're promoting your book to people want to read your book? That's number one question you want to ask yourself, right? Who are they talking to? Who are they showing your name to? I can show your name a million times. In fact, if you write, Cyrus writes about branding. If I show Cyrus's book to people, to a readers club who work in vampires in that genre, horror, for example, are they going to buy the book? No, never. They're just not, right? I'm saying, be very, very careful to choose carefully. Like I say, don't expect them to lead to sales because that's not what they're there for. They're there to give you visibility, which is useful for us, right? I said that if you write a book series, it makes sense that you might want to get your first book to people for free by putting on those book sites, right? Really, that's what you can expect from them. Book sales is a side result if you're lucky. Not many get book sales, right? And every year, the results from these book promotion sites goes down. The rest of it, I say, a couple of years ago, 2020, and say I know of an author who sold. I think they sold that for 14. I say sold. They got 1,400 downloads from a book promotion site, right? The same site what they used in 2022. They've already got 570 downloads. How many book sales? Not many. People love free. They'll take free, right? But they're not going to buy your book unless you're talking to the right audience and you package your book in a way that the audience wants. There's no cheap and easy marketing for your books, my friends. You have to get out there and do the work. Book promotion sites exist, of course they do, and they make money. But could your money be better spent somewhere else? So Jay's in the audience. I remember Jay and I were talking about working with a club somewhere. Is it a club? It's a company that. I'm sure you do. I know you do, right? And where are they now? Who knows, right? Where are they now? Don't fall for gimmicks. Is a point today. Don't fall for promises that are too good to be true, because they are too good to be true.
If it's too expensive or too cheap, and it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good.
Yeah, exactly that, Sarah. So if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Don't fall for it, right? You can build your own community of readers. You really can. This is what my LinkedIn events are all about: building our community of readers who know us, they like us, they trust us, they know what our books are about, and then they come and buy the book on launch day. I don't promise my authors much beyond launch day because my whole focus on making them #1 bestsellers and international bestsellers, right? That means we line up the buyers and that community to buy the books on that launch date. Now, there are many other people on LinkedIn who have big communities, and they'll tell you they've got communities of readers. Some do, I'm sure, right? But they can't get enough sales, enough buyers on their book launches to become bestsellers. And so, and as happens in the world, people will look at me and go, it doesn't really matter if I'm a bestseller. It matters. It matters. It matters. 1.5 million books a year on Amazon. How many are bestsellers every year? Not a lot, a handful. So that's why I'm so, it makes the greatest joy in my life is making my authors bestsellers, because they have an award, an achievement that many other authors would never ever achieve. Even when they go with these book clubs. Go on, Cyrus, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, these book clubs that you're referring to, there are good ones, there are gimmicky ones. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But when you work through someone with a proven track record, someone like yourself, right? I thought about this for a year and something, less than 2 years, right? So just don't enough of that. I was thinking enough of that dilly-dallying. I have to make a decision. I have to get published, right? So now the book is with the editor, and it's being edited as we speak. So find yourself, if you're an author and you're listening to this, find yourself a publisher who's got a proven track record of some sort of success. Stick to them. And I don't know many publishers who walk side by side with the author from A to Z, or as people call it on the other end of on the other side of the pond, from A to Z. So I don't know many publishers to do that. If you're working with any, there is a good chance you're going to get your Amazon's bestseller
Guaranteed.
Some people,
it's guaranteed, Cyrus.
guaranteed.
Guaranteed every time, and it's a 100% success rate.
Guaranteed. So some people, me included in the past, I was thinking perhaps that bestseller position is not required. Then I searched about it, didn't I? So I did a quick search, and then when I say quick search, it took a few months. So and found out it was a door to success that I didn't even know existed. That's all I was saying.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you. Look, a bestseller is, it's a badge to have. Like I always do for my author friends, and I always tell my author friends, if you're a bestseller even once, every other book you write, you can put the badge on that says written by a bestselling author. It makes a difference. Now people are drawn to that gold badge. Like, what? That book's won awards. Whereas if you're not a bestseller, you're just like every other book, and people are like, oh well. Do I take a chance or do I not take a chance? But I think, more importantly, Cyrus, so my book club, my book readers club, will have people who buy books on launch date. That's what they're there for, right? The reason I can say that is because your launch, everything must align. We align the categories, the dates, we align the price, book launch price. Now, most books that we sell on launch dates, the most we've sold a book for on launch date is $2.99. Most books are 99 cents. Whereas it's any other way, trying to promote your books through the back door and trying to get people to sign up for your book, pre-orders, they don't work, because many of them are on a promise. And what the book promotion sites offer you is, where's your book free? And Amazon hates free these days. So Amazon knows that giving you away your book free is you're missing out on sales. It then becomes, how do you engage people to really buy your book on the day, to really want to buy your book? You know, you can build your own book readers club. Yeah, we all can. We'll have to. That's what our
But
connection.
the thing is, I'm sorry for interrupting, but the thing is, when you go to a bookstore in your local, to your local bookstore, would they accept to give the book to you for free?
No.
Why would we expect that online?
Because,
When you go to your local bakery, do they give you the bread free of charge?
look, no, look, I tell you why they do online, Cyrus. Because there was a day when authors were told, all you have to do is get your book in people's hands, and then they'll buy it. Right? Get your book, whether it's free, whether it's a PDF, just get your book in people's hands. They'll buy it, right? Then Amazon, and the simple trick was go to Barnes and Noble, go to Ingram Sparks, or go to Drafted Digital. Find someone that will let you print or publish your book and put it on for free. And then go to Amazon and say, Amazon, look at this. They're doing my book for free. You're charging them X amount. They're going to go and get it from there. Don't you care? Amazon used to say, we do care. So let's price match, right? So we'll do it for free here as well. Now Amazon says, we don't give a flying monkeys. We couldn't care less. There's no free on Amazon at all. If they want to give it away free, they can, right? We know, but we know we're the biggest bookstore in the world. So we don't care, but you can't have it free here. So our world is changing is the point, right? Amazon changes every day, but so the power that book promotion sites had is waning by a long way. The numbers don't justify the costs. And Paulette came to me recently, and she wanted to know. She was like, "Should I put my book in this book promotion thing?" I'm like, "No," because £1,500 to do some emails, to do some social media, to do X, like I've shown you, is flushing money down the toilet. There's no guaranteed results, but it costs money. And every book readers, the book promotion sites cost money as well now, as you saw. 1.5 to be in a magazine. Yeah, thanks. The magazine that no one's going to read. What's the point of that? Joni, how are you doing? Talk to us. What are you thinking?
Well, basically, I'm thinking that you put words to paper, which really is a very special step for you to take, and that's important. You want to follow up with all the right important next steps. And I agree completely with Annie, because Paulette and I have had discussions about how we fell victim to some kind of scammy marketing companies that really did not follow through. So I think, the way of going to an editor at Simon and Schuster or something like that's it's just not going to happen for your first book. It's just not going to happen at all anymore. But going to a reputable source is certainly going to help you, and going to someone you trust who has experience in this business is going to help you. Also going to your friends who are fellow authors, just like what struggles they have been through, so you can kind of not make the same mistakes. I know all of our parents try to do that, like, we don't want you to make the same mistakes as us, and we all don't listen. But as an author group, it does help just to have the knowledge of kind of the right places to showcase your talents, because it's your talents. It's not theirs, it's yours, and you want to protect that. So
I totally agree with you. I think I love your point about collaborating, joining with other authors, right? So if you can find other authors who write in the same genre as you do, their readers might be interested in your book, right? The friends you make that you can sell your books through.
Yeah.
And of course, they can sell their books through, through your network as well. That's a lot more stable, a lot more
It's a lot more like authentic. Honest. Because there's just a lot of dishonesty. Because people still really like to read books, and they like to read books, listen to books, and there's people who love all different types of genres. So it's not a dying form. It's just the way the form is put out there that may be dying. And now we're left to navigate kind of how the best way there is to do that. The first book I'm putting out there is a children's book. So of course I talked to Paulette, who put out children's books. We had a little bit of a different reason to put them out, but still it's important to, just connect with other real human beings.
I agree. No, that's totally
It was at Walloon Lake, Michigan for the 4th.
Thank you so much, Joni. That is great advice. And I will say, build a community and build it slowly. I know we all want things fast. We all want to go global instantly, right? I will tell my older friends, I challenge you to do book signing events locally. You're going to schools, local schools, Joni, to start, right? I'm saying you start local, and then your circle gets bigger and bigger. Now you've done book signings in your town, and now you've done book signings in your state. I'm saying, that's several book signings. Now you've got people who know you. That's
it's like any like those. If anyone has kids who are middle school or high school, they all want to go viral on their YouTube, on their TikTok. Do you know how many kids actually go viral? Do you know what happens with those kids? Like when they go viral, they get
it's like a disease, Jade. It's like a disease. I always say this. It's like being a virus, right?
Yesterday, and my kids about lost their mind.
Really?
It's a 0.001% or something like so extreme that your post goes viral, and then they hear about it. They're like, why isn't my post going viral? That's the same as a book. Like, you don't need it to go global right away. Do it where you can. And that's really the best advice that Annie has kind of imparted on me, and I'm following it.
Yeah, because it's a way journey. We'll start slow, we'll build slow, but we'll build with intention, and we'll build by being genuine. As you say, it's about being a person, right?
Yes.
Our readers are people, so we just need to relate to them as people. And your first book is your worst book. Yeah, I just said that. It always is. No, for everyone. No, for most people, the first book is not the best.
That's again that 0.001%. Like it's you're probably not the 0.001%.
You may be. I'm not gonna knock you down and say
that's great.
Right, but we'll start somewhere. But literally, say I work on the plan of my 10th book. It's gonna be my best book. Because by then you've learned a lot, right? You've learned how to write. You've learned how to tell stories. You've learned how to really engage readers.
Yes.
And there's many other quotes when it comes to writing books. How do you start the chapter in an engaging way to have a hook? And how do you end the chapter to leave an open door for the next chapter? So these are things we learn with time and through writing books, and then people giving us feedback. Give yourself that space. Give yourself that space.
And that is good. Feedback. Because my little guy, who's my 2 nephews, and he is so cute, and he is 8 years old, and we were reading my story together. He's like, Anthony, these words are these are hard words to pronounce. And so I was like, I get that. This is a hard word to pronounce, like, and so kind of took a step back and re-examined a couple of the ways that I was going to present the book. And so very much so, it just, other people who are like-minded can really help you and accept the constructive criticism.
Yeah. Look, I'm not hating on book promotion sites. Like I say, I've got one. I'm a member of one, right? And I leverage my one. But I know my one does what it will say we do on the tin, and that's what people pay me for when they pay for a bestseller, right? I'm saying, now one thing I would say about book promotion sites, they're very good for that pre-publishing stage journey.
Okay.
We want people to read your book. It's not a book yet; it's a manuscript, right? We want them to read your PDF and give you feedback. They're good at that because they've got many readers.
Yeah, I was going through it and saying you made this incorrection. Like they just have AI going through it, right? I mean,
but then you're giving away your manuscript for free, right? Which is, if that's your thing,
they're not there.
Right, if that's your thing to give away for free, you do you, right? Well, don't expect sales on the back of that. So you get engagement, of course. You might get some review ratings, but you're not going to get book sales the way people, the way they promise you, the way people think they will. Cyrus, I see you flashing your mic, my friend.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're writing your first book or selling it, you are in the wrong game. The first one paves the way for the second and the third one. And then when you're selling the second and the third one, the first one gets sold even better, even more, right? So write it not with the intention of making money out of it. Write it with the intention of getting better known to the community that you're going to serve. And the books get sold by the community, not by you.
That's area. Isn't that the truth there? That's the point, right? Build your own community. We all can. These events give us a window to the world that we never had. That we couldn't build communities before. Trying to build a community by doing posts was never going to work. Right now, we really can build a community of people who know us, like us, trust us, and they want to support whatever we're doing.
That's true.
That's social media today. It's not about going viral, becoming a virus, as I say.
Right, finding a good community. That's
it
great.
really is. It's like, and some looks. Don't be glass-eyed and thinking, oh, they got thousands of people in the network. Again, I know people who have 100,000 people in the network on their email list, yet they can't get to bestseller on launch date. They can't sell 100 copies of books, even 100,000 now. And these aren't just LinkedIn people. I know that it's widely known. Many authors build huge lists. They can't sell 100 copies of the book. Oh, now, Cyrus, you sound like you were an alien for a second. No, you have to move. You have to move. You have to move
somewhere else.
Turn left. Turn left.
Can I say one thing, Cyrus, while you're moving? So I'm just gonna give a shout out to my favorite bookstore on the planet. I have been to many, and it's McLean and Eakin in Petoskey, and it is the most wholesome, wonderful bookstore that has the greatest recommendations. And I swear to goodness, like a genius, person who's in the English department at University of Michigan just comes and works there for a year because they just love books so much, all of the staff. And they are sort of like a dying brand where you find these local little bookstores that are wonderful. And so McLean and Egan, they also do a monthly book group, like different books, and it's just charming. And sometimes life needs a little bit of charm. So shout out to them.
Yeah. You know, and they're local as well to you, Joni. They're real people. They're you know, we tell you we must stop thinking of people as if they're just numbers and logos on our screen. They're real. A real store. You know, it has real people who put a lot of effort into keeping the store going for our benefit, right? And the same as in a bookstore. You know, it's all about whether we can engage with them and support them rather than just buying our books online. Cyrus, try again, my friend.
Is it better now?
Yay, we found you, Cyrus.
So speaking of shout outs, let me give a shout out to Joni, who's more consistent recently. I can see an author taking shape and taking form there. Well done. And I can see a good author coming out of it because after the first book, technically you will be an author, and you are community oriented. And
thank you. Well, I'm already an author. I mean, I wrote for my school newspaper. I did all the features columns, so I have some stuff under my belt, all right. But that was
fantastic. So
20 years ago. So
for other authors who are gonna, for the up and coming ones, or even more experienced ones. So the suggestion I'm going to make today, in terms of their SEO and in terms of their website, is that what I have come to realization about authors is that obviously I talk to them on the daily, right? So I talk to people like Annie, I talk to people like almost everyone in our community. So they either I contact them or they contact me, and we sit down and have an honest conversation without naming names. I'm gonna tell you guys, you need some sort of monitoring in terms of monitoring your website statistics, like how much traffic you have, and how much daily visits you're getting on your LinkedIn profile. If you don't know your statistics, there is nothing that you can do to improve it because you don't know where you're lacking, right? So find yourself a good website creator. Talk to me, talk to anyone you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, create yourself a website. Find yourself a website creator, or do it yourself. You can do it yourself as well. So, and let that website run for 6 months. So then the website captures the data and hands it to you between so it gives you the data every 30 days, every week, every day, every hour even, and tells you. So now what I'm going to share with you guys blew me away. So whenever I come to Annie's live events, within the 30 days, the minimum that gets added onto my website's 30-day views is an extra 1,000. What does that tell you? What that tells you is, if I come to Annie's live events like twice or 3 times a month, and then I go in and check, I find an easily added on 1,000 to 1,500 views. So that tells me when you go live, there are 2 types of traffic. One, people who come here and stay, like me and Joni and Christiana and Michael and Dr. Oksana and many other people like Lisa Fevik. So we come here and we stay. Thomas and Natalie Thomas. So we come here and we stay, and we help the show. We get involved in the show. So we are the ones that actually persevere through the show, and we stay with the show, right? There are thousands of people who come through every live event who may stay there somewhere between a few seconds to a few minutes before they leave, right? So if you have some sort of website and you put that website under the screen, at the bottom of the screen, people will remember it. There are also thousands upon thousands of people who will watch the show later on, right? So please remember, you need traffic. Traffic is the number of people who come through to your website and or your LinkedIn profile. So give them something to check out. So because it's like a shop. You need high footfall, okay? High number of people who come to your shop. Some people will make a purchase. Some people are just window shopping, right? So it doesn't really matter. It's just a numbers game, isn't it? So there are people who will definitely make a purchase because they know you as a brand. So what do I mean as a brand? A brand is a promise. So when they talk to Germany, they for sure they're going to get some sort of value, learn something, and even though she's of the younger generation, she has the experience of the previous generations built in her. That is something that is an added value. So you're talking to an experienced, committed person, right? So that is the brand that I can see here, right? So that is the brand that I would definitely purchase from. Okay, so some people buy the product, some people buy the brand. Okay, so I buy the brand, and when I'm desperate, I buy products. When I take my time, I buy brands. Okay, that's how customers behave, right? Yeah, thank you, Annie.
No, thank you.
Hey, Cyrus, do you know one thing that you said? I loved everything that you said, and I really took it to heart about you just understanding how to make yourself sort of a reachable, I would say. But you said something so Australian that I thought was adorable. You said nothing. And that's so Australian. You just were like, oh, it's like nothing.
That's nothing.
Nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing like the word nothing.
It's not British. It's Australian, and I where I would say nothing. I did that, but it was so cute.
Well, Australians are some sort of British as well, and
I know a lot of people can't recognize those accents, but yes, and here over in the great USA, we have a lot of accents too, and sometimes I don't understand what people are saying. So, and they're in my own country, so.
It's
so cute.
I think on that point, Jonah, to just make you laugh. Last night I was doing a post for my UK clients. I wanted a UK voice, but Runway hasn't got enough voices that I liked. I want an Australian guy to be the voiceover.
I could have done it. I could have said a cuppa. I could have said I want to use the lip. I have to rod the telly. Wait, I don't know what that means actually.
When we're doing your dinosaur promotion videos, Jenny, we'll use.
I'll do it in all accents.
Yeah,
it's like the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, look.
I feel like Whisper Boy could definitely, he could add some voices if I do an audio. I really want to expand it to a TV show. That's really what's in my mind. So, I feel like Whisper Boy could be one of them.
you hear Cyrus, people like Cyrus more often than we might realize. They say, because he uses his voice a lot more often than people know. So, of course, don't you know that my opening song, my closing song, my music for my shows, they're all Cyrus's creation. You mentioned TV.
Cyrus, you're just so talented. I really we're gonna connect individually. But He is
I'm not
talented.
talented. I'm
You're,
lucky. I'm just lucky. That's all.
Oh,
I have
you're
good
hard
friends.
working, my friend. As Christiana
but
said,
you're
you
not.
know, you're a doer. You're a doer, Cyrus. You're a doer, and the gods love a doer. The world loves a doer. And you're that guy.
You know, regarding the TV idea, right?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It has been
That's
being
where
being
I want to
formed. This
take my.
idea. Yeah, this
I don't
idea's
know.
been being formed for a while, and I am picking only 10 friends of mine on LinkedIn. Then we are creating a small network of just under 100,000 viewers, and we're going to start from there. And on this network, we're just advertising people's websites, books, authors, people advertising authors. And so imagine all day on all of the channels, there's going to be channels comprised of authors. Like on one channel, we're going to have Joni, on one channel, we're going to have Annie, and on a particular time of the day, you're going to get Michael. So there's going to be different shows throughout the day in a consistent way. And the way we've designed it is that it's going to be across all platforms. It's not just going to be on LinkedIn. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube, Instagram, and this is brilliant.
You
I
stay
freaking love
away
it.
from TikTok because it's Chinese or what? Kidding. Continue. I'm kidding.
Thank you so much, Annie. Back to you, my friend.
So thank you.
Anyways, I have to get going too,
Yes,
but
yes.
I just want to say nothing is better than America today. Nothing is better. And I'm going to take my son.
Nothing's better.
Yeah,
Nothing's
better.
better.
It's better. Yeah,
Better.
definitely better.
Than a little cool treat. I don't even know. I went Scottish there too. Okay.
The YouTube made me
I'll
laugh.
see you guys
Thank-
next week when I'm back in Ho-Hum, Chicago.
Yeah, enjoy your boat trip. I said, I know your new version will be up tonight, and let's see where you go with it next, right? And then
Sounds great. Thank you,
next
Angels.
week.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, everyone
Bye.
who's joined us. Thank you, Cyrus. Enjoy your ice cream, by the way, and your boat trip. You know,
Peace in the USA.
Look, my friends, join us again in 2 weeks' time. So my next show tonight is a Positivity Live with Zion. We're talking about collaboration over competition. So do join us for that as well. Cyrus, you're a star, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. I've done this. So the scrolling banner is going, Cyrus. So I think it helps when people watch the replay as well, right? Because they can see the
Absolutely.
banner. It is there. If you don't use that for that feature, you know, even using the background, you know, I think that all helps, right? So my friends, thank you so much. Cyrus, have yourself a good day. No 4th of July for
Thank
you.
you. Thanks everybody for watching. And if you're watching the replay, you've been watching the right channel for you. Any old song. Thank you.
You see, I think the one thing I've learned from now that I'm going to do from now on, Cyrus, is get people to drop their and the people in the studio to drop their LinkedIn or their best connection, their best contact link in the comments, so people can actually connect with them, right? You know,
Absolutely. And if they want, they can drop all of their socials in there.
Yeah.
And then that will help us in the process, in the selection process. You never know. You might be one of those lucky people who's going to be selected amongst the 10 people that we're going to take on board. Or should I say 8? Because one of them is me, the other one is Annie. So it's going to be
yeah.
So, 8.
Right. It sounds like Joni will be on board as well. So, you know, and Joni has a decent network.
Hopefully.
So,
Yeah.
you know, thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy.